everyone. Let's continue with our previous lecture, single inheritance public derivation. The properties from base class are inherited into derived class. So private members are not inherited. Public members are inherited into the derived class. So along with inherited members, derived class can have its own members. C is a private data member. Public members are multiplication function which calculates the multiplication of B and A. So as A is a private member, it cannot be accessed in derived class. We have a function get A. Get A function returns the value of A, which will be multiplied with B, and result will be stored in C. Next public member function is display, which displays the value of A using get A function again, which displays values of B, C, end of derived class. Now we will understand the meaning of public derivation. Class B is a base class which can have three types of members in it: private, protected, and public. Private members are never inheritable into the derived class. We can only inherit protected and public. We will be discussing protected visibility mode shortly in next slides. Now let's concentrate on only private and public. If we want to inherit the properties of B base class into the derived class D1 publicly, then private members are not inherited. Public members from base class will become public members of derived class. Let's consider this with our example. Base class has a data member A which is private to the class, which will be used inside the class B base only. Public members are B, get AB, get A, and show A. These are the public members of base class which are inherited by derived class. Now public members of base class will become public members of derived class. Along with the inherited members, derived class can have its own its own members. So C is a private data member. Multiplication and display, these are the member functions which are public. Now derived class can access these data members. C can be used only inside the derived class. Public members can be used inside the derived class as well as outside the class as they are public. Now we are going to create an object of this derived class. So derived class object will have access to these members. Now D1 is the object of derived class. This object can call getAB function, as getAB is a public member function in the derived class. This function can be called outside the class also. Now this is the function which will read the values of A and B. Multiplication is a member function of the derived class which will multiply the values of A and B. Show A is a function of the base class inherited by the derived class. So D1 can call show A function which will display the value of A. Display function is a member function of the derived class which will display values of A, B and C. Now B can be assigned 20. B can be accessed in main function as it is a public data member in the derived class. It can be accessed inside the class as well as outside the class. Again, we can calculate the multiplication of A and the new value of B. Display the values of A, B and C. End of main function. Execute this program to understand it better and see its output. Then we will concentrate on private visibility mode. The members of the base class are derived, inherited into the class D2 privately. Again, private members are not inheritable. Public members of the base class will become private members of derived class. Both protected and public will become private members of derived class. Let's see this with an example. Again, we have base class with A as a private data member. These are public members. If we are going to inherit these properties privately into the derived class, private members are never inherited. Public members of base class will now become private members of derived class. Now, outside the derived class, we cannot access these members. We can only access multiplication and display function outside derived class. If we will be creating the object of derived class, we can access only multiplication and display function, but not these members. We are going to create an object of derived class. Now we will not be able to call getAB function as getAB is private to derived class. We cannot call it outside the class. Multiplication function can be called as it is a public member function. But now multiplication will be multiplying the values of A and B obtained using this function. Now we are not able to call this function. We should have a solution for this. Show A is again a private member function which cannot be accessed in main function. Display function can be accessed here as it is a public member function. Now B cannot be assigned 20 because B is private to the derived class. We cannot access it in main function. Multiplication function can be called, display can be called. Now, to fix this problem, we need to make changes in the derived class definition. Derived class, derived from base class privately. This can have its own members along with the inherited members. C is a private data member. Multiplication is a function which calculates multiplication of B and A. Now, before calculating this multiplication, we need to read the values of A and B from the user. So we cannot call it in main function. We can call it inside this multiplication function as getAB function is a private member to this derived class. It can be called inside the class but not outside the class. Display function displays the value of A. But A is a private member of a base class. We cannot access it directly here. We can call show A function and it's a private member function. It can be called